It's Monday morning, and some people think there's a conspiracy within the media to do down rugby league. But I've just watched a clip of the BBC News last night, and they referred to a drop goal in the rugby union as a volley. Bloody hell. Right, rugby league. This is a proper one, the one with 13 men. You know, imagine if they got rid of two of them. I don't know, anyway. Starting in League One, as ever. This weekend's scores starting on Saturday afternoon. Keighley 10, Hunslet 32. Well, Saturday evening. Sounds a bit of a violent one, that. Red cards, yellow cards everywhere, but Hunslet with the win. On Sunday, Crusaders came from 16-0 down to beat Coventry 33-16. Doncaster drop goal enough for them, 23-22 against the London Scholars. Oldham 28, Newcastle 20, and Workington 66, West Wales 22. Whitehaven top, 26 points from 17 games. They had the week off this week. They've got West Wales in a couple of weeks. They've got Keighley away next weekend. Oldham second on 24, Newcastle on 23, Hunslet on 22, Doncaster on 20, Workington on 19. Workington have played a game more. London Scholars outside the top 6 on 15 points, Crusaders on 14, Coventry 8, Keighley 5, West Wales on 2. Championship. Toronto are top. We know that they've won the League Leader Shield. They've had it presented again after they beat York 56-6 on Saturday night. Toulouse edged out Widnes 28-12 in the afternoon. On Sunday it was Barrow 22, Bradford 46, Batley 16, Dewsbury 10, Featherstone 66, Swinton 16, Halifax 18, Sheffield 20, and Rochdale 18, Lee 50. Still no idea why they decided to televise that one, but there you go. Toronto top 40 for 6 points. Toulouse second on 34. Lee third on 34. York dropped to fourth. They're on 33 points. Featherstone taking fifth place on 32. Then you've got Sheffield on 28. Bradford on 27. Those are the chasing pack for the top 5. Halifax on 19. Batley, Swinton on 17. Dewsbury on 14. Widnes on 12. Barrow 9. And Rochdale already down on 2 points. On to Super League. I'll start on Thursday with the preview of the Challenge Cup final. Warrington 12, St Helens 30. Big win for the Saints, of course. They've already clinched the League Leaders Shield. And that's now a 4th defeat in a row for Warrington. Let's hear from both coaches in a moment, Justin Holbrook. But first, here is Steve Price.
Proud of the boys. To come up against the competition leaders, I think we had, about 10 players missing and, had a lot of guys who were banging on the door for an opportunity and, they certainly put their hand up. It was a really, tough game. And as I said, just really proud. It was we lost our whole bench with 16 or 17 minutes to go. We had no one to put back out there, and Hilly was cramping up, and so we went with 12 with a bit to go. But it was a good display of our DNA tonight. Yeah, it wasn't perfect at times, but they showed a lot of fighting spirit against the competition leaders.
How are the injured players?
We got two head knocks. Ben Curry went off in the 14th minute mark. Then we lost Danny Walker with an ankle injury at the 20-minute mark, and then we lost Merds. So hopefully there's nothing too serious. Lewis Johnson with another head knock. So very fortunate. We've got a long turnaround next week. We've got 8 days to get it right for Wigan. So Matty Smith come in off one training session. Then we lost our 9 and threw everything out. But we went down swinging the night, which I'm really proud of the lads.
What did you make of Smith's performance?
Yeah, it was solid. It was good to see him smiling and getting back to enjoying his footy again and competing hard, and you'll get a lot of confidence out of that.
And Bravo in as well, made his debut.
Yeah, 2 17-year-olds, first time in the club's history, which is quite special. They've got a big future, but there's still a lot of hard work to do for him. And I thought Josh Thulos really was strong tonight. He didn't look out of place, and there's a bright future there for Riley Dean too. So as I said, they can hold their heads high. I thought Chris Hill, what he bashed out tonight, I thought he was tremendous.
I thought we started a little bit slow, as I said, and then got on with the game. And half time, obviously, it was close. And then, even in the second half, Warrington, threw a bit at us, and we sort of withstood that, which was great. And then got to, come away with a good win in the end.
Looking at some individuals, get well behind another fine game in, but do defence and attack.
Yeah, he did. You know, it was great for young Jack. You know, he's had a handful of games with us now, and he's getting better every week. You know, he's a good young player to coach because he's a good lister, and he's got a lot of improvement needed over each time he's played, and every time he's played he has improved. And I thought, tonight he was terrific for us.
Took some doing to pulling down Marcelo when he was full steam there, wasn't he?
Oh, it's excellent, isn't it, for a young player like that to make that tackle was a huge effort, and that's the type of areas that he's been working on. Like, he's probably done too much in his first few games and carrying the ball like a front rower for us, and I was told him you don't need to do that in first grade, you can do it in the academy, but it's not needed here. And so he's just made lots of little changes to his game, and so I was really happy for him to play so well tonight.
Big tricky games, mate, because you've obviously got the big game in 2 weeks. Do you have to think we don't want to show too much, or you just got to play your game?
A bit of both. I mean, but both sides obviously had a number of players out, so that sort of nullifies that anyway. So, I thought it was a tricky game to play. We knew that going into it, so for both sides. But you still want to play well, and we did that tonight.
Does he Paulo look so he's limping after he'd scored? Does he pull something?
Yeah, just a slight strain, his hamstring, so it's more sort of precautionary than anything else.
Won't stop you smiling though, because we've made up with that, hasn't
Yeah, it was his first try for the club, so he's got Kyle to thank for that, so that was good for him.
Getting the offloads work out now, is that something you're encouraging, or is that something you want?
Oh, no, I don't encourage it. If it gets presented, then that's good, but if not, we're okay with that too. So, he's playing more for us, but I thought he was good. I thought Johnny was classy again tonight. He was fantastic for us, so it was really good.
Couple of games on Friday nights. Wigan beat Hull KR 36-18, 12 all at half-time in that one. And a big win for Leeds over the Catalan Dragons. I was there, and I have to say, the Catalans in the second half, utterly dreadful. Maybe disgraceful, I don't know. We'll talk about it on Monday night. 48-8 win for Leeds. Leeds were good, don't get me wrong, but they were down to 12 men for most of the second half, and they didn't concede a point. In a moment, speaking about Namara, he wasn't happy, but Richard Agar was.
I think up to 30 minutes, we're really happy with the way we were playing. Difficult conditions, but the way we sort of mixed our game up, I felt we're really good. I just thought we missed some opportunities on that left side. Or not missed opportunities, but we came up with, I think, 4 play 1, play 2 errors, trying to chase tries that we might have been best advised to be a bit patient. I was confident we could manage the one-sim bidding, but at the same time, didn't know what impact it would have on us energy-wise. The send-off, it can go one or two ways, can't it? But if we were down to 12 men, then I thought the crowd really helped our guys, equalise those numbers, if you like. I thought, our last couple of home games, whether we've won or lost, I just think they've been magnificent. I've been coach of a club previously that, in any times, the atmosphere can almost, increase the burden on players at times. But it's just been inspiring, I think, for our guys to receive that sort of support. So, we were talking up there, the 12 men is almost coming 13 with the way that, the crowd got behind us. So, I didn't see that coming. You want to manage it in 10-minute blocks and kick the ball out and save your energy. We actually have the luxury of making 2 substitutions to save a couple of blocks for next week, which given 12 men and, playing top 5 opposition at the time, you would have settled for that at the send-off for sure.
You were 16-8 up at half-time. Were you concerned, given the dominance, really, that you'd only go in with an 8-point lead?
Yeah, just some lessons to be learned out of it. What I talked about in making those sort of good ball errors. But as long as we, got back to what we were doing and just stayed a little bit more patient, the message is that the chances will open up. We don't know where or when, but if we go chasing them while they're not there, that's when we tend to make mistakes. So just a little bit more patience. Again, it can go one or two ways. You heed the message and you fix it up, or you continue in the same vein and put pressure on yourselves. And the send-off did galvanise us a bit, really. I thought everybody dug in and played that little bit harder. We had to change the way we were playing. We played a lot back under, and the emphasis sort of became on playing back under and running out of dummy half a little bit more rather than trying to put shift plays on. You know, when we lose in the middle, it makes it difficult to strip a team of numbers. And I thought we got that great, and I thought Brad Dwyer, you know, the impetus he gave us out of dummy half were magnificent, really.
Quite clearly, hugely disappointed. You know, the game was there. They had a man sent off. Well, like we had a man sent off. We never compete after that point. So credit to Leeds. You know, they were really good tonight. But yeah, you know, that last, I don't know, was it 25 minutes there was really tough for everybody involved.
Why did the last 25 minutes go south as drastically as it did?
No idea. It's happened to us on numerous occasions. We lost our connection, we lost our combinations in attack and defence. You know, they weren't there most of the night, but during that point there, we were still a chance. I think it was 8 points down, was it? 16-8, I think, when,
Yeah.
if I remember right there, we get a man sent off. You know, we had surges in that game where we were pretty physical, but then we got cut off. I think it was 3 or 4 tries off kicks. I think 3 out of the first 4 tries were off kicks, and then once the scoreboard went against us, we stopped.
How can you explain playing like you did last week, to them performing like that and having a big score on you against the side of the bottom half of the league?
Yeah, I can't right now.
When things like happen, like you can see 32 points to 12 men, do you start to almost like in your own mind sort of question some of the players' attitudes and characters and things like that?
No. Not at that point, no.
Have you questioned it before tonight then?
You question many things when you're involved in a team throughout the season. The ups and downs and the ebbs and flows. Quite clearly. Certainly weren't questioning the things that you spoke about there, Gary, you know, last weekend.
Yeah.
But, you know, tonight's performance, like I said, I thought we actually started the game well, then we lost control of the game, then we got back in the game and then started the second half good, so it's fits and starts, but it's just when it goes against us, we separate from each other right now, and that's tough to take.
Is it worrying to see a few of the players arguing after that scrum? I think Greg
Separation, that's what I'm talking about there. That's, you know, it's probably nailed it there.
Before we get to the rest of the weekend, in the Men's Super League, a look at the women's action. Big win for Castleford. They beat the champions Wigan 56 points to 8. Something's going wrong with Wigan this season, isn't it? Having won the title last year, change of coach, need a change of fortune. That's a defeat to Castle and a defeat to Fev last week. They won't like coming to West Yorkshire. Bradford were beaten by St Helens 34-18. I wonder if St Helens will get to the grand final this year. It could be a Saints Cast final, you know. Leeds won't like me saying that. They beat Featherstone 52-0. And congratulations York, who won their first game of the season, beating Wakefield by 20 points to 4 to see Wakefield bottom of the table. That's not the same in the Men's Super League. Or you may think different. In the Men's Super League, the team that are bottom lost at Castleford. Castleford 20, London 6 on Saturday night. And 2 games on Sunday. Wakefield lost to Hull 26-16. Damage done in the first half of that one by the early birds. They were 20 points to 6 up at half-time. And Salford beat Huddersfield. This was that game that a few weeks ago, Salford went in front and Huddersfield blew them away. Well, this time it was slightly different. Salford 32, Huddersfield 12. Here's Simon Wolford and then the victorious Ian Watson.
It felt Ian, very similar to the last game you had with them. You went 8-0 up early on and didn't quite kick on. Were you at any stage worried?
First half, we came in at half-time. Half-time kind of came at a good time for us. Obviously, we got a penalty just before it. But we wasn't doing the right things. We'd fell away from a few things. We started chasing the edge like I just spoke about before, and we started making errors. And we'd spoken about not doing that or not trying to go there too early. And we probably put ourselves under more pressure, and then we conceded points on the back end of that. And obviously, in the end, started coming from behind to get the result.
It was really stop-start, wasn't it, in the last quarter? Did that went against you a little bit?
Yeah, awful. I didn't like that because last time that happened to us here, we kind of lost concentration. So that was the messages that were going out at that time there. We kind of wanted to make sure we retained our focus. But to be fair, I don't know. I don't know how many head injuries there was there. But O'Brien came off, and he didn't seem to be injured as he came off, and then he's gone back on. after the head test as well. But there's the few things that were just a little bit kind of slowing the game down today. I think just a little bit of tactics potentially for some of them. But one of the things that is annoying me is Chris Wellham's competing for the ball in the air on kick chases all the time, but he keeps getting penalties against him when he's competing for the ball. It's really becoming a real bugbear at the moment because we're competing hard and going for the ball. Yet as soon as you kind of touch the guy in the air, they're just saying it's a penalty straight away. They've got to start they're taking the contest out of the game with that.
Is that something you'd like to obviously see changed?
Yeah, I think we're going to send a message about it after the game because it's happened in our last 3 games. We're kick chasing really well and competing for the ball, but they keep giving penalties against us all the time, the officials, so we need it clearing up.
Yeah, you've had some great wins this year with some great attacking rugby, but this just feels an even bigger win, the manner of it really.
Yeah, I thought the way Huddersfield came, they came with a real good mentality. They definitely weren't like they were last week anyway, put it that way, in which they don't seem to be against us. They came with a mentality to kind of get in the arm wrestle and play with some energy. I thought Holmes and Russell did a real good job for them and caused us a couple of problems, especially Holmes on the left edge as well. So they came with a purpose to play, and it kind of probably gave us a taste of what's going to come really in the next few games really, because that arm wrestle mentality is a semi-final football kind of way to play, and you've got to make sure you outlast the other team in that arm wrestle, and I thought today we generally did that.
Given how tight it is in Super League, does it make your achievement of being 5th at this point even more pleasing?
I think it's been massive for us as a club. If you look at the numbers, just kind of on the finances and the resources of what the boys do every single week, they're outstanding. The group of players we've got are first class. They don't complain about what we don't have. We worry about what we do have, and then we go forward with that, and we try and put our best foot forward every single time we take the field. And the boys have been a credit to the club throughout the full year in the way that they've done that. We just need to make sure for our own ambition now, what we want to do is make sure that we nail the playoff spot and then push in the playoffs and see what we can do.
And everyone's talking obviously about how tight it is at the bottom, but the race for the 5 is tight, and it's yours now, isn't it? So someone's got to take it off you.
Yeah, well, there's obviously Catalan, Castleford. Cass got a win. Obviously, the week Leeds did us a favour the other day by pulling Catalan back. So it's kind of in our own hands, all 3 of us really. So it's probably who wants it most at this moment in time.
Any injury worries after that?
Oh, there's a couple of knocks in there. Jacko got hurt underneath the post as well, but kind of pushed on through. Gil Dudson, Lee Mossop, but he's just a bang, I think, Moose. And then I think there was a hamstring. I can't think who was with at the moment, but there was another one, but hopefully not too many. The good thing with us at the moment is our medical team's been brilliant throughout this year, and we've got George Griffin, who will be close to coming back in the next couple of weeks. Ben Knack. Josh Wood's available now as well, so we're starting to get players back. Greg Johnson's back and available, so we're starting to get players at the right end of the season back available and fit to play.
Well, at least next week we won't be talking about effort, because I thought, the effort from the guys was tremendous today. I mean, we had 11 sets in the second half, and 9 or 10 of them would have been coming out of our own end, so we didn't make it easy on ourselves, that's for sure. We made a tough game, really, really tough. We hung in. I mean, they finally hit the lead 15 minutes to go or something, and they scored a couple of late tries against a run of play. One off a kick and one off a downhill intercept, trying to force the issue. So the scoreline wasn't a true indication of the game, but we certainly, from an individual point of view, we certainly let ourselves down. A couple of play one drops coming out of our own end, a couple of kicks at times, kick selection let us down. So. A lot of good stuff there as far as our effort's concerned. Like I said, it'll be nice next week to talk about some technicalities and those sort of things as opposed to effort, because I thought we had plenty today. And like I said, the end scoreline wasn't a true indication of how tough that game was.
How tough is it? We know you live every minute, even when your team's playing well. But how tough is it now, Simon? Because you're in a pretty perilous position.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough on everyone involved in the club. I mean. Each week we're playing literally for our lives. So I thought, we showed today that it means something to us. Like I said, it seemed like Salford were camped on our try line for an eternity in that second half. We finally broke, however long it was, 15 minutes to go or even less. So, signs there were good, and hopefully we can pick up on the skill component next week and get ready for Cass.
Injuries were crucial. They seem to go against you. A lot of head knocks at the end. How is everybody?
Look, Matty English isn't great. He's, he'd have to be doubtful next week. Not his first one this year either. So, he got his head in the wrong spot there midway through that second half. That didn't help us. I think think we had one interchange left with 20 minutes to go or something, so that doesn't help, but they're just part and parcel of it. You've got to deal with that. You've got to deal with that adversity when it comes your way.
It was a crucial moment. I think you were 6 behind at the end, and you got the ball on halfway, and Joe Wardle got tackled. He seemed to react to that tackle and give away a penalty. What is your understanding of that situation?
Oh yeah, look, Joe says after. He's pretty adamant that I don't even know who the Salford player was. I didn't watch the replay. We twisted his leg after the tackle was made. And, Joe reacted. His reaction probably not what the team needed at the time. We had the ball. So I'm not too sure, how bad or whether there was much in that or not. I didn't get to see a replay. So, but certainly from Joe's reaction, did we need better? Probably.
And just finally from me, I know you've not won today, but I'm picking you going home a bit happier than, like you said, you were last week.
Oh yeah, look, I'm obviously it's not ideal losing and still let the game get away the way it did, but we competed today and we were in the game right up till the 70th minute. So they're going good. Salford at the moment, they've had 3 really big wins since we last beat them here. So they're a team riding high with confidence and enthusiasm at the moment. They do a lot of things well. So we knew we needed to be somewhere near our best to beat them today. Unfortunately, effort-wise, we were really good, but just too many basic fundamental individual errors made it too hard for us.
Well, thankfully, this game was on TalkSport 2, which meant Mark Wilson and Paul Cook were there.
We expected Salford to win. Paul, what did you make of the game?
Yeah, I thought Huddersfield was very good, particularly after last week where they was really poor at home, conceding 44. I thought they came with an effort and a desire. However, that doesn't get you the points always. Listen, nobody gets 2 points for effort and desire and character. Unfortunately, just not enough quality, and Salford deserved winners in the end.
We've heard down in the press conferences, Simon Wolford, I think the main thing he takes out of it is, and he said it himself, is this week he won't be getting asked questions about his players' attitude and effort, which he was last week. They tried, I think he said they had 11 sets in the second half. They just got steamrolled, didn't they?
In the end, just run out of energy and troops. Lost some players to head injuries that didn't come back on the field, but also couldn't get out of their own end. Second half, Salford really turned the screw from probably 50 minutes onwards, and they was behind on the scoreboard until minute 60. So Salford eventually running out winners, but did enough to suggest that there was going to run out winners. The dam just bust in the end for the Giants. Too much defending, not enough football, didn't turn it over in the right field positions, just made too many errors and invited Salford in, and eventually Salford get over the line.
Ian Watson was delighted with the way that his team went about it. They didn't panic, they didn't try to be too fancy, they stuck at it. And as we said in commentary, good teams find ways to win, don't they?
Yeah, you don't always play your best and don't always win games when you play your best. You've got to win like that sometimes. I mentioned it to you, on air about finding a way to win games ugly. And they've found a way today from 60 minutes onwards to create enough pressure and turn the screw enough for it to eventually, pay for them at Salford. So I think Ian will be delighted. 5 weeks ago his team lost that game against the same opposition comfortably. They didn't stick to plan. I thought second half they was really direct and they stuck to the plan. They didn't allow Huddersfield out and eventually run out winners. So well done to Ian Watson's men.
They're in the top 5 tonight. 4 games left. It's in their hands. Again, we asked him, and you'll catch the video on 4020 live during the week on social media. He's delighted with that. He said, we don't moan about what we don't have here. We work with what we have got, and he's got a team that are fully committed to the cause. I thought Chris Ninu was outstanding today.
Yes, he was. Chris Wellham as well signed a new deal. Jackson Hastings obviously moving on, but playing fantastic. Lola here has been quite a shrewd signing, hasn't he? Letting Louis go, was going at the end of the year anyway. Not always easy to change your halves at any point of any season, but Lola here stepped in, playing a bit better than he was at Leeds, certainly. They're just a really workman-like team, aren't they? They've not had too many injuries. They've been pretty fortunate, but with a thin squad, Ian's got to rely on that. But for them to be in the top 5 is remarkable. I say it, and I say it every week about, when we come to Salford, you sing Ian Watson's praises. He continually rebuilds teams, and teams loses his best players, they move on, or they get snapped up by other clubs, and he continually rebuilds again. So well done to Salford.
Do you think they can make the 5? Or stay? Or say make the 5, they're in the 5. Do you think they'll stay in the 5?
I'm not sure. I think Castleford are breathing. Catalan are faltering. They've a chance. Listen, they're a really tough team. We said just prior to going on air that they don't lose too many games by lots of points. They're always in games, and they're a very workman-like team. If they are in the playoffs, you don't worry about them going away. If Catalan make the playoffs, you worry about them going to Wigan or Warrington. But I don't worry about Salford. I think they're going to make a game against everybody and make it a tough contest for every team in the 5. Do I think they can win it? No. Do I think they can make the 5? Yes. They probably can win a playoff game. I'm not sure they've got 2 or 3 or 4 games of that intensity in playoffs to go all the way to Old Trafford. But top 5's a real feather in their cap, in my opinion, with the budget, and as I said, it continually gets slashed and the team has to be rebuilt. I think it's a massive praise for Salford and Free and Watson for them to be in the 5.
And looking at the other end, we know London are bottom. They've had a good day today without playing, because we've seen here Huddersfield get beat. We've heard elsewhere Hull have gone to Wakefield and beaten Wakefield. You know, there's a group of 3 teams now, including Hull KR. Hull KR against Wakefield is live on TalkSport 2 next week. We're going to be there for that one. It's getting a bit tight, and everyone going, well, London, you know, they've gone. They're still there. There's 4 games. It's now a 4-game season.
It is, yeah. Nobody gets rested. You play your best team. You just can't afford. You know, they go to the south of France next week. They're faltering, the Dragons. You know, call that one right now. You think it's 50-50, wouldn't you? Anyway, but you know, the Dragons not in great form. Still got a couple of suspensions. McAlorum still suspended. So they've a chance, London. You know, Wakefield, Hull KR, only one of them 2 teams can win. They could be level on points with either Hull KR or Wakefield next weekend, London, should they win. So they're going to have to win 2 because of their less superior points difference. They've got to win at least 2 of 4 games. They do play Wakefield and Hull KR in them 4, so there's some big games at the bottom of the table.
They've got Leeds as well, who are pretty much, I think we're ruling Leeds out of it now, aren't we?
I am, yeah. I think Leeds are safe. I thought their victory over the Dragons, coupled with points difference, I think they'll try and finish as high as possible. Possibility of finishing 7th, maybe 6th, which would be remarkable considering where they've been for most of the season. So I consider them to be out. I think it's 1 of 4 me for the drop. And I've seen, we watched Hull KR on Friday night. I probably saw enough from them. Huddersfield have had a real dig today without producing too much quality and not winning a game. But you know, you worry for Wakefield. In my opinion, there's a really tough run in for Wakefield.
Is that the biggest game of the season next week?
For Wakefield, it is. I think they've lost 5 straight now. I think the pressure's on them to go to Hull KR and win, particularly the last game as well, being down in London. That could go down to a 1-game shootout between London and Wakefield.
So that's it then. Your gut feeling at the bottom?
My gut feeling is still London. I just think, I've always said it from day one. I just think they'll go back down. I didn't expect them to win as many games as they have. I think they've done a remarkable job. Danny Ward and Jamie Langley and the players. I think they've had a real dig. I just think they'll run out of games. 4 to go. So that's my gut feeling. London will still be the team, but there's a few nipping down there.
So that's the weekend in Rugby League wrapped up. We'll be back on Monday night, tonight, from 6 o'clock, talking all things Rugby League. All of our podcasts are available at 4020rl.podbean.com, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the usual places. Put us up the charts. We're big in Germany and Luxembourg. And hopefully we'll be big again this time next week as we look back another weekend on the Monday morning wrap-up.